We are talking about Dharam or religion. Are they the same thing? Or what do they mean for me? What is the understanding of Dharam teach me? How it relates to me, my identity, and my life. I will start by first understanding the structure of what is me and how it relates to my explorations within. What am I seeking? We are all seeking something. A fish in water doesn't know it's in water. Just like that, we don't know what permeates within and without us. We are unaware of what the source we are from, and that on which this entire creation rests. The exploration of Dharam has to do with this inquiry. What is my source? Where do I come from? Where do I go? And where can I find rest, permanence, peace? These aspects of my life are where the Dharam starts getting created in my life. So, first question which we need to inquire is, what is me? Whatever my name be, Sandeep, Amit, Prabjot, whatever be. Who is this personality? How does it come about? And how is it created? The Guru talks about an aspect of life which is related to birth. And he says, live chutki, lagi Krishna, Maya Amar Vartaya. That as long as we are in the womb, with our mother's womb, we are connected to the source. And the moment we take birth, our identity is formed. Or even before birth, our identity is formed and our source is disconnected from us in the conscious level. So the mind now has two aspects built to it. One is the ego aspect. So Guru Nanak was asked this question by the yogis. Kit kit pid jab upje purkha, kit kit dukh binas jai. How does creation come about? And how does my pain go away? These are the two core questions which relate to all our lives. When I say, or when the question asks about creation, they are asking, how does my connect to creation happen? Not the formation of the structure or the physical form of creation, but how does my connect to creation happen? Kit kit bid jab upje purkha. How does the creation come about for me? How do I relate to it? Kit kit dukh binas jai. Guru Sahib talks about home then. He says, home which jab upje purkha. From the ego does my connect to creation happen. We can understand this, that we are all from one source, from one creation. Ai Panthi Sakal Jamati, the entire creation being one. So, when in our lives we have found this mind which is connected to the source, and then we need to disconnect it to come into creation and view and participate in creation. Otherwise, creation will not come about. If egos go away for everyone, then only the source remains. There is no creation. Nobody is there to play in this creation. The game is over. So we are all created through the ego, home which jab upje purkha. And we then live all our lives in this home, through this home. But what is the relation of ego, home, with Dharam? And where does the conflict arise in life? So, for the creation of the ego, the mind has to be divided. It's not in the absolute form anymore. So it is divided in the sense that it perceives incomplete realities, not complete realities. So if this mind, which is the ego in it, if it has to find good, then it has to also know bad. What is good in life? The answer is that which is not bad. So to define good, this mind needs bad. So it's never an absolute form of existence. It's divided. And the division is where creation comes about. If there is no good and bad, then only Tat Gyan remains. The source remains. The high, low, rich, poor. Even birth and death have been created as a form of creation. If there is no death, there will be no birth. And similarly, if there is no birth, there is no death. So these are the feet of creation. Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi talks about death, and he says creation rests on two legs. One is birth and the other is death. And if you take any of them away, creation will fall. So Guru talks about this mind, when the play of ego takes place through a relative world. Who is rich? That who is not poor. There's no definition of rich by itself. We can find them, we can create them, but both of them will go together. One who is happy and sorrow is also connected. So here happiness and sorrow are also connected. They remain together. If we seek happiness, we will end up in sorrow. This is the rule of this ego world. Now the fact that the creation of this ego world, the I, has a mind which is divided, leads to its own problems and its own solutions. The first problem being that the conflicts now rest in this mind. So Guru says, "Haumne dirag rog hai, haumne vadda rog hai." All these, the illness of the mind, the blemishes of the mind, the falling apart, the conflicts, they all come from this ego. Because there is no winning here without creating a loser. So if I have to win in the ego world, there has to be someone who has to lose. If I have to make money in shares, someone else has to lose. If I have to win a game, someone else has to lose. So there is always the other. And Jean-Paul Sartre says, hell is the other people. This is our hell. The ego world is our way we relate to creation. And this is the way we live in conflict. We live in incompleteness. We live in dire straits of searching that which we don't have. So what are we searching? If we have happiness in our lives, and it is not permanent, then that happiness is sorrow. So the other part of this question, which the yogis ask Guru Nanak, Kit kit dukh binas jai. How does pain and sorrow go away? Guru says, Haune vich jagupje purkha, naam visariye dukh pai. He awakens us to a concept of naam. We will come to that. But the pain which we live in, the conflict which we live in, is the creation of the foundation of our ego. If we know only the ego mind, if we know only the relative mind, if we know only that mind which is constantly moving, which has constant thoughts in it, then we are actually living in a sort of hell, trying to create our balances, trying to seek our answers, but always confused. And often enough, if we have less desires, then we may be calmer. But if we have desires which are more, then the calmness also goes away. So the rest and peace is gone away due to this ego. But this is how creation is created. So We have to live this anomaly. And in this creation, we are all seeking. We are all seeking happiness, which is forever. What do you mean by that? Happiness followed by sorrow is not happiness. It is relative, transient, impermanent, and makes us insecure. And is constantly driving us to seek happiness. Whatever we all are doing, whatever we all are seeking, whatever we all are wanting, is this desire of happiness. Everything has this relationship. The happiness which I have, the life which I have, should not go away, or my happiness goes away. We are all aware of that. Unintentionally, subconsciously, we are aware that my happiness is impermanent. It's temporary. And as soon as my happiness goes away, I will be in pain. So subconsciously, we are all seeking happiness. We are all seeking it forever. Guru calls this Anand. This does not lie in the ego mind. This happiness which we are seeking is not in the ego mind. It is not in the mind which we know as the divisive mind. It is not related to ego. We cannot possess that happiness which is forever. I cannot have it. It can be experienced if I go beyond the I. So this is the Dharam. This is the role of religion in our lives. This is what spirituality is. Maulana Rumi talks about a lamp, the container, the oil, and the flame. And he says the flame is the spirit, it's the Atma. And the container is my body and my structure of my religion. So the religion carries the flame, carries the spirit, the awareness of Atma. That is my inner core calling. That is my core religion. And that is what is Naam. It is undefined. We know this whole creation has defined form and shape, name, form, identity. But behind this, there is a world which is completely undefined. There is no form and shape. And that is where all this rests. And that is where Naam is. But unfortunately, that door doesn't allow the ego to go in. I have to drop the ego with my shoes at the gate, and only then the doors of heaven will open. A father sends his child to study. After a few years, he's back. He asks his child to tell him what he learned, he or she learned. And they tell you about the defined world: physics, mathematics, English, languages, geography. And as soon as the whole narration is over, father says, pack your bag, go back. I sent you to learn that which cannot be taught, that which is undefined, that which cannot be said, that which can be felt, can be known, but it never can be defined and spoken about. Our whole creation rests on this formless world. But we all live in the form, not knowing the formless world. But the mind knows the formless world. The mind is playing and flirting with the formless world constantly. It is seeking. Through its thoughts, it's playing this whole game within itself. And here is where the conflict is. We live our entire life in mind, in my mind. And when we live in my mind, we live in conflict if we don't know the mind, which is forever and which is stable. The Dharam word by itself inspires two different ways of understanding life for me. One is the nature, the inherent characteristics of something. The Dharam of the sun is to create heat. The Dharam of a tree is to have leaves, have wood, bark, roots. create itself and grow. This is the inherent nature of these beings. This is one aspect of seeing Dharam. And this means what? It means that these parts of creation have no conflict. A tree doesn't know how to be it doesn't have to know how to be a tree. It is a tree. It's complete in itself. It doesn't know conflict. It knows birth and death, but it lives in complete acceptance of life. So it is complete in itself. But the human being doesn't know what he carries within himself, he or she carries within himself. And that is a conflict. I am unaware of what my baggage is, what lies within my mind. And this is what I'm seeking. I'm constantly seeking it by my endeavor to seek truth, by seeking happiness. I'm actually seeking that which is the source of my life, the complete happiness. The Guru says that he deals in a product which is such. Saach vakkar ke hum ban jaye. In another place he says, Sur nar munjan amrit khod de. We in all creation is seeking amrit. What is amrit? Amrit is happiness forever, transcending death. It is unconditional happiness. Happiness which relates to conditions is unhappiness because it's because of cause. The moment this cause changes, the happiness is turned into sorrow. So in the ego world, whatever we may be experiencing as happiness is transient, temporary, and unhappiness will follow it. So we are in conflict, we are incomplete. We are unaware of the baggage which we have. What is the root of my mind? I am unaware of it. This is how Dharam for a human being, what is in the core of his creation? What is his nature? What is the human being's nature? What is the human being's pinnacle of experience of life? That which we can call perfection, that which we can call absolute. That which cannot be taken away from me. Because what can be taken away from me is never with me. And everything we know of life, it can be taken away. It will be taken away. So it's a very big conflict for us. The only world we know is the ego world. The only life we know is the life which will be taken away from us. So we are actually heading into disaster zone right when we live. So we create distractions. And the more we get distracted, the more lonely we are. The more seeking it comes about. So here, the rogue of the mind. Here is the mind full of disease because it is seeking, distracting itself, not really seeking what it wants to seek, but distracting itself on the way. So it's an inner conflict. The other aspect of the word dharam is duty. What is the duty? Duty of a person, duty of a role we can play. The manager of a bank, what is his duty? The manager of a company, what is his duty? The husband, what is his duty? The wife, what is his duty? This is the other aspect, which is the ego-related aspect of dharam. So you will say, what is a good Christian? What is a good Hindu? What is a good Sikh? These are the different religions then. But I'm discussing the spiritual aspect of life, the dharam of life, which doesn't have identity religion connected as yet with it. We can discuss the identity religion. But interestingly, what does the identity religion rest on? How does it relate to the unknown? How does the form of religion get inspired by the spirit of it? Atma and form, how does it get connected? Through its source, through the Naam. Naam is the source of our creation, source of me, source of you, source of everything. Naam ke dhare sagle jant. Everything we know of life is through Naam. And this Naam we are unaware of. So we are disconnected from our source. So religion in its form rests in the spirit of the religion, and the spirit of the religion has no form and shape. Guru Nanak says, Nanak sache naam bin, kya tikka, kya tag. Tikka and tag we talk about as symbols of a religion. It can be any religion. And what is those symbols if you have no connection to Naam? Then what does religion become? A religion or Dharam, then it becomes the ego-based religion and Dharam, not connected to our spirit, not connected to the seeking of happiness, not connected to our Atma, not connected to our source. So always divided, always in conflict and causing conflict. There, if I become a part of a religion or a Dharam without having to seek that which is the absolute in life, then I'm creating my own conflict. Then being a part of this religion, I will divide the world. I will make it more venomous because then I need the other to lose and I will win. So then I will convince myself I am the better religion because you are worse. These are the worse religions, I am the better religions. So conflict of religious war starts. But this is not religion. To seek the other to lose means we are also losing. If I am a winner and the foundation of my victory is someone's loss, then my victory rests on a loss. It's another reflection of the same loss. And if life has more loss in it than victory, then what is this victory? And how can one religion win over the other? So this is my submission. Guru tells us this. There is only one religion in this world. There is only one inherent nature of a human being. There is only one true nature of a human being. And what is that? Unconditional happiness, love without conditions. Gyan, understanding that all creation is one. This is Brahm Gyan. This is the understanding of myself and creation itself together. Without love, there can be no understanding of the creation or the creator or Naam. And this love is not conditional. It's an unconditioned love. Love which already exists with me. That love which is already there. It doesn't have to be created for a reason, for a person to be there. No. This love is love. Part of my life. That aspect of my life which is unchanging. So this whole paradigm of religion and Dharam is won or lost in the mind field. My mind, within my mind. If I have understood what my mind is, if I've understood that aspect of my mind, which is full of unconditional happiness, then I have understood that aspect of happiness which can never be taken away from me. And that is the only happiness in this world. Everything else is a reflection of unhappiness. Everything else makes us incomplete. To understand what is my inner being, to understand that aspect of my mind, which is unchanging, which has no ego in it, this is the focus of Dharam. This is religion. So the word religion is a Latin source called religare. Religare means to bind. Interestingly, the word yog mat is the yogi mat. 500 years ago, in India, yog mat was the prime seeking of religion through. And the yog word by itself means to join. To join with what? To join with my source. So understanding this, that when I am taken birth, I have broken from my source. To come into creation, I have to break. Otherwise, there is no creation for me. There is creation, the creator, but I cannot experience it. To experience it initially, I have to walk into life through ego. And then to know the complete life, I have to transcend the ego. I have to transcend thought. I have to transcend mind. I have to know the mind. Jan Nanak bin Apachine, mite na Brahm ki kai. Without knowing myself, my inner mind completely, bin Apachine, mite na Brahm ki kai. This whole aspect of Brahm, illusion, that which is called Maya, that which isn't permanent, which isn't temporary, it will never go away unless I know the creation of my mind. So Dharam has a relation to my mind, and there is only one source mind. There are not two. There is only one family of this whole world. There is only one Dharam to know the nature of my inner being. There is only one seeking we all are doing to find permanent happiness. And in that seeking, I am also seeking transcendence of death. These are not far away words or concepts. Death lives with us constantly. Death lives with us forever. It is the Atma which never goes away. So we can have a mind which is the changing mind and choose to live in that only, in the fear, anxiety, the divisiveness, in that which will often bring us troubles. This aspect of the mind is ruled by karam, by what I do. The seeds of my mind sown in this mind, the karam, is what I shall reap. Whatever I have sown in my ego mind, that I have to reap. So the moving mind is controlled by dharam, by certain rules. So Guru says that what we need to seek is how this illusion will go away. Kiv sachiyara hoiye, kiv kude tutte paal. How this wall of falsehood goes away. What do you mean by falsehood? How does the ego go away? The ego is a transient experience of this world, not permanent. But through the ego, we live our life in a certain way. We can know that which cannot be ever taken away from us. Understanding this. Life is transient, temporary, impermanent. But if it's lived in a certain way, it can give us an experience where I get to know that life which is permanent, where I get to know that aspect of this world which is forever in happiness, which is full of love. And where does that exist? Everywhere. Not a single aspect of this creation is without Anand. It is complete rejoicing. But I don't feel it. How can I feel it if I have a curtain in front of me? Kiv sachiyara hoiye, kiv kude tutte paal, kud di paal. The wall of falsehood, the wall which is temporary, the wall which is given as an experience to know the permanence of life. That is where I've stopped. I don't go beyond it. So when I don't go beyond the transient mind, then I don't know that which is permanent within me. So this father sends the child away to know that which is permanent, that which is forever, that which cannot be taken away. And that is the only blessing a father can give the child. Whatever else you may teach a child will always go away with life. And it will be constantly changing. Heraclitus says, man can never enter the same river twice. We live in a changing world. So we live in a river which is constantly flowing. We cannot ever enter it again. because it's the same, it's a changing river, and the person is also changed with time. Constantly changing. This whole world, one aspect of this world is constant change. In this dialogue with Siddh Gosht, Guru Nanak also mentions one very deep concept of creation. When he says, Avagato nirmaya upje, from the undefined, the pure mind arises. The source mind comes. Nirgun te sargun thiya. From the nirgun, from without form, without shape, without definition, the form is coming. So our source is undefined. And this is Naam. This is the Sahaj mind. This is what is the Ghar, our home forever. This is what is Anand, Anand forever. Happiness forever. This is what we are actually all seeking. This is like Guru calls it a commodity, a vakkar. Jis vakkar ko learn tu aaya. What you have come here to do is to find this. So our identity is transient, it's temporary, it will go away with life. But if we have experienced that mind, which is forever, if we have played that love, which is unconditional, if we have experienced that joy, which is Anand, unconditional happiness, then this identity also doesn't go away. Jahan te aave. Wherever he has come from, there he shall go. Whatever we have come from, we shall go back to that. But our form and shape will remain whenever needed. So then our identity doesn't go away. When Kabir talks about death, he talks about life in this way. Jis marne te jag dare, mere man anand. He says, that death which everyone is scared of, I am in happiness thinking of it. Marne hi te paiye puran parmanand. Only then I can find even the slightest distraction of this body goes away and I'm in complete anand. He says, marta marta jagmuwa. Mar bhi na jaane koi. Aisi marni jo mare, aur na marna hoye. He says the whole world is dying. They don't know how to die. But when you know how to die, when you know what death is, when you know the nature of death, then you don't have death. So he's talking about this aspect of Dharam, of life, where this Dharam teaches us how to transcend death. And if our inner calling is this, if our inner search is this, then we are not dividing the world. We are a solution to the problem of the world. If we are following religion in the ego mind only, then we are part of a problem. We are dividing the world through religion again. So when Guru Nanak comes about from the Bei Nadi, he says, Nako Hindu, Nako Musalman. He has gone into the spiritual aspect of religion. And he says, these forms of religion are not permanent. What is permanent is my Atma. And my Atma has a ras. It has a joy in it. I know the ras of creation through experiences of life, sex, toys, games, losing, winning. These are games we are playing. For what? We are finding some ras in it. When a man earns some money or a man or a lady earns some money in the share market, there is a ras in it. The joy in it. Guru says there is a joy in the Atma itself. We don't need to do anything to experience that. How that happens, how that goes, that is a separate discussion or discourse or narration by itself. But what I'm trying to say is that if we seek in this world happiness, we often enough cause pain to others. So if we win, somebody else has to lose. So the seeking of happiness in this world is often enough taking away somebody else's happiness. But within our mind, if we seek happiness, then we give that to everyone. Then we participate in creation, which is a play of Anand, constantly everywhere and for everyone. So if Dharam is to know this happiness within us, then we are uniting the world. But if it is not, then we are dividing the world. Then religion will lead to wars, fights, political battles, and now it has become a tool for politics. So what worse? That which should be bringing us all together, that which should be making us all one, that aspect of my seeking which should bring love in this creation brings hatred. Because of the way we are living, because of the mind which we are living in, we are only living in the conflict mind. We don't know the mind which is without conflict. If we don't know the mind which is without conflict, we are the cause of conflicts. It can be any logic we create, but we are part of the problem. We are not the solution. The solution to the world lies in Naam, in that Anand, happiness, which is unconditional within me. So to go within is to find the solutions. And then the answers will come in the defined world itself. Not that the action will not follow. So you look at how Islam is. The aspect of Islam which is carrying love in it, in its source, is the Sufi. Is the Maulana Rumi, is the Sheikh Sadi, the Firdausi. Those who have reduced the blemishes of division in religion, but who have defined their life through love. When love is inspired within us, only then we know the true religion, the true dharam, the true nature within us. So we then revere the Sufis much more. We find them more easy to relate to. These Sufis are in every religion. They should come together. Come together to inspire the world to move towards the mind which is not with conflicts. To go beyond the ego. To inspire love. Inspire joy. Seek that Anand which is resting forever. Which is within us, without us. How to seek it, how to find it, can have different routes, can have many routes, can have infinite routes. But the love which one person finds is the same as the other. The Anand is no different, the quality is the same. The mind structure which is unchanging is the same for everyone. The source mind, the source of creation is only one. Ik Omkar Satnam. That's what we must all be seeking. So I've discussed the nature, the dharam, the religier, yog, meaning to join, to bind. Religion, root word is religion is to bind, to join with our source, my source, your source. And this seeking is without conflict. If someone has found Anand, then it's not as though the pool is reduced. The pool is increased. The Anand is expanding. So it doesn't take away, it doesn't reduce. In the world, if I take away an object from someone, then there is something which I've taken away from the other. But in the source world, in the spirit world, in the Atma world, in the mind which is without ego, if I have found Anand, then I'm giving it to everyone. Then I'm bringing it to every home with me. Let us try and move towards this form of dharam, of religion. Let us find that within us. The Sufis call this 11th direction. This is within us. And lots of people in this group and outside us are seeking this, already endeavoring to come together. When Buddha is asked about, is there a God, he's silent. But he does say, are you unhappy? That is where we all start from. So in this way, unhappiness by itself is not the problem. The problem is how we seek to solve that unhappiness. How this can become a solution. How my unhappiness can become anand for everyone. So Guru says this unhappiness can inspire me to seek anand. We are all unhappy. We have to be unhappy a degree to find even happiness in the known world, in the defined world. We are insecure. We don't know the answers to death. We don't know what can change tomorrow in this changing world, what brings for us good or bad. So we seek astrologers, myth seekers, try and understand everything is okay because we don't know. We are just grappling with the unknown. But here there is nothing permanent. Everything which we have, including our body, is going to go away, no matter how much we try. And the more we try, the more conflicted we are. There is one thing which is permanent. It is the source mind. It is the Unman, the undivided mind. There is one thing which is forever. It's the unconditional happiness of my Atma. It is the Anand. Sat Chit Anand, that which is truth, that lies in my Chit, the core of my mind. That is Anand. There is no other shortcuts to life. Every other door leading to pain. Every other door leading to permanent change. There are only two possibilities to end of this body. Either we will go into ever-changing world where we will live our karma, or we will go into rest and peace. And that is only through happiness of Anand, through finding the nature of my inner source mind. I think I have said what I would like to say today. I open the group to any questions, anything which you all may want to discuss, and then maybe we can explore it together further. Thank you. Satnam Vaheguru.